start the deck? Yeah.
Yeah, I will start the deck. Give me about 2 minutes. I would like to set this stage. Hello, everyone. My name is Anshuman Sinha. I'm the president of TiE SoCal for the year 2020 and 2021. Anil Ramanini is my executive director that you see on the right side of the screen. We have multiple events going on, on a daily basis because of the COVID-19 situation. We do the TiE SoCal Connect on Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, webinar on every Wednesday. This is the first TiE SoCal Angels startup pitching event that we are doing online. We have another one lined up in the month of May, on May 20th, which is again a Wednesday in the evening, 4 to 5 p.m. And we will be pre-selecting 4 or 5 companies who will be presenting that day also. Today we have our TiE SoCal Angels, board members here. These are some of the initiatives, but I'll share it at a later date because of the paucity of time. So with that, I would like to hand over to Shankar to go over the TiE SoCal Angels a little bit and also set the ground rules for the presentation today. Shankar, all yours. Thanks,
Anshuman. Good afternoon. Welcome to all for the first pitch event of TiE Southern California Angels Group. We have had this almost 18 months, and we had investments, made investments in over 8 to 10 companies. We are also working on the Angels Fund, which I will talk to you guys at the end of this presentation. The slide here shows information about the fund. As I said, I will talk about it towards the end. Let's go with the pitch. Today, the pitching companies, we have 4 companies that are going to be pitching today. The format is going to be 10 plus 5. Each company would have 10 minutes to pitch, put a slide deck, talk through their product, what they do, how they differentiate from others, income, burn rate, and everything. And then after the 10 minutes presentation, which will be timed by Anil, we'll have a 5-minute Q&A. Participants who have questions can key it into the Q&A section or the chat section. Anil and Anshuman will walk through and ask the questions. Panel members, you can ask the questions too. Hopefully we'll cut it off in 5 minutes, so it'll be 15 minutes. Any further questions if you have, you can always go back and talk to the companies. After these 4 companies finish the presentation, hopefully by 5:15, these companies will go out, and then 5:15 to 20 minutes I'll talk about the fund and where we are. So today's companies are HappyAgain, RadIntelligence, RealKey, and Shroomeats. The first company is going to be HappyAgain with Anja. She's already here. And Anja, it's going to be, as I said, 10 minutes plus 5 minutes Q&A. If you finish early, then there'll be more Q&A. It's up to you. Okay? Thank you. You can start now.
Thank you.
I'm bringing up your slide.
Oh, can I share my screen because we changed the deck a little bit.
Oh, okay. So let me do that. Let me stop the share and give you the permission to share here.
Sorry.
So I will have to make you the host, and after you finish your presentation, you need to make me the host back again.
Okay.
You're the host now.
Okay. So, do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Bigger. Okay. So before I start with getting into what we do, I wanted to tell you why I started HappyAgain. It's a very personal story. I helped my dog Tony, who you see in the picture, to get back on his skateboard. He had arthritis in his shoulder and couldn't skateboard, and it made him really depressed. And I worked in tissue engineering for cartilage at that time, so I could help him by developing a supplement that brought him back within a week. And now I introduce you to Happy Bond. At Happy Bond, we are extending the health span of our pets to strengthen the happy bond that we have between humans and animals. And the problem in this space is that due to all having dogs being our family members and treating them really well and going to the vet, we extended their lifespan, but not their health span, which means that we spend more time and money with their diseases and them being sick. And the other side is that the pet market is huge, but really unregulated. It's like the Wild West. There are a lot of companies that claim things that are not true, they're not scientifically proven, and they don't work. For example, here's a big brand, Pedigree, that had a crazy marketing campaign, which is really great, dogs rule. But then you see on the other side the ingredients list of their food, which will actually make the dog really sick. Now, the opportunity for us is to develop really great science-based products, co-create them and curate products to be proven and trusted and increase the health span of our pets. And we will educate people with scientific proven results to be an authority in the pet business. It's kind of like Goop for beauty products, but this is the pet space. Now here we see the pet market size. The pet industry is huge. It's 96 billion this year, and there are more dogs than kids in the US. And just the pet medication market, which is more in supplements, is 13.2 billion. Now here we show what HappyBond is. We're creating essential nutrients in food, like the supplement for hip and joint. We're doing dog food, we have vitamins, we have treats. And in creating a longer health span for the pets, we're giving them bonding experiences because they want to train with their dogs, they want to travel with their more healthy pets. We want to help people in the shelters to adopt dogs and teach them how to skateboard. And why this works is because we're educating people through setting standards, teaching them science, and showing them a different standard in the pet industry. Now, this is the first products that are already on the market. We launched HappyAgain, a collagen and hyaluronic acid-based supplement to repair the joints for older dogs, seniors. And we launched a puppy and young dog start collagen product that was building in the growth phase, so they don't have to face a joint issue earlier than they needed. And we're also going to launch to maintain the adult cartilage in dogs through a similar collagen. Now, this market of hip and joint is what we're disrupting at the first. It's a huge market, it's a big pain point for pet parents. And the players on the market have no solution that actually works. It's mostly anti-inflammatory with glucosamine and chondroitin, which you're probably familiar with. Ours is really building, maintaining the cartilage and can repair it through a patent-pending formulation that is based on my research in tissue engineering. And that's the product roadmap to show you more that we're already having the essential nutrients with the collagen on the market. We're launching the treats with benefits this quarter, and also co-branded products that you see here as treats. We're doing wet dog food and a line of vitamins called the elixirs to boost the immune system and good help with anxiety and digestion. And in 2019, we started to launch the brand in August with our brand partner Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer. If you have a pet, you're probably familiar with him. He's one of the biggest influencers in the pet industry. And when I met him, his dog couldn't walk, and HappyAgain brought him back to run. Now this year, we want to ramp up the marketing and actually introduce the bigger brand vision of HappyBond with new product launches, a big campaign coming out, new partnerships and co-creative products, and continue with our endorsement with Cesar Millan, as well as another celebrity for our dog food line. Our business model is direct to consumer. It's a subscription-based model, especially for the nutrients in the food, adding co-created products and add-ons for our customers. But we also in retail with selected wholesale partners like Healthy Spot, Nordstrom, in e-commerce, Amazon, Petco, and Chewy.com. So those are the numbers to date. We just launched last August. So to date, we have roughly 150K in revenue. The first quarter, we had 30K in sales. And now this quarter, we're doubling that. We're looking to double this each quarter. And this is just one product. So even if this looks small, there's a big potential with launching more products and building the platform that we're looking to build. And our monthly burn rate is 27K at the moment. Now here we see the financials where we especially like that we have a really big gross margin on all our products. And we launching, this is all very conservative thinking, but this is what we can reach if we get funding and launch the bigger vision. And this is our team today. That's me. Then we have Sean Handers, our COO, who has over 20 years experience in consumer-facing brands and retail. We have Caesar as our brand partner in the supplement space, and Brett Lees, who is our CMO at the moment, who's also an investor and is coming from Havas Media as their Chief Officer for Data and Innovation. And our marketing numbers, and this is from the nutrition supplement that we launched, is an $81 average customer acquisition cost, but with a lifetime value being $1,680 over 4 years, the return of investment is really good. We have a 10% churn rate, which includes if the dog dies. And we are using a lot of different marketing types, not only paid media, but also a lot of influencers. One of them being RadIntelligence RadIntelligence that you will hear later on from, which we had a really good experience with sharing our content. And we are asking for, or looking for a 1.2 million seed round, which we already raised 400K off with a 5 million cap is a convertible note. Most of the funds will go into marketing and customer acquisition and inventory supply. And if you look at a acquisition, we're already in contact with Mars, who has 60% in pet care, and with Nestle Purina. And before I take questions, I want to leave you with a really nice quote. If I could be half the person my dog is, I'd be twice the human I am. And I'm happy to take your questions now.
Thank you, Anja. So, Anil, do we have questions in the Q&A?
No.
Or chat? So I'll open the floor for the panelists to ask questions.
Yeah, Vijay does have a question. Vijay Kotarappa, if you would like to ask the question.
Yes, my first question was the benefits that you're showing. Has that been proven independently by some independent agency for validation?
Yeah, we have an independent study from a university that showed a preventive in 70% of Labradors, ED, the elbow dysplasia, could be prevented. And then there are a lot of human studies as well. So it's a human grade supplement. It's safe to take yourself as well. But in the pet space, we have that study and it's all in our data room. I'm happy to share those papers with you.
And following on that, what is unique about your product that someone else might be challenged to make?
So our formulation is, it's first of all, the hydrolyzed collagen, how we hydrolyzing it, it's enzymatic. We're sourcing it in Germany with a very high grade. And then the formulation itself is not only collagen, we're adding hyaluronic acid, the glucosamine and vitamins to it to make it all work together. So that's why we have, and the dosage of it, like we have 117 times more active ingredients than all these shoes where 80% is inactive fillers.
So one question I had was, if you're making it in Germany, why aren't you selling in Germany? Or if you're selling in the US, why aren't you making it in the US?
So we're sourcing our raw material in Germany due to quality, but we will move to co-packing it in the US in the future. We will sell in Germany, but we're first concentrating on the US market.
I know you said something about the patent. Have you filed for the patent in the US?
Yes, we filed 1.5 years ago and it's already publicated.
Okay, and just to add to that, your qualification, why did you choose this line and how are you qualified for this one?
You mean the hip and joint line?
Yes, your personal qualification.
Okay, so
my
background is in biotech engineering. I worked first for Novartis in protein expression and then moved over to a specialized in rheumatoid arthritis research. So we built 3D models of cartilage to test rheumatoid arthritis drugs and avoid animal testing.
Okay. Next question I have is on the store displays. I know you're selling online. and you're negotiating with some companies on in-store. Have you had success, or who you're working with in-store?
We are in independent pet stores like Healthy Spot. That is a California-based pet store that has 17 locations to date. But in Petco, we started online, but we'll move into stores later this year.
Okay.
And then looking into independent pet stores as well.
Are you in discussion with Petco?
We are in petco.com, which is normally the start, and moving into the brick and mortar potentially end of this year.
You got one and a half more minute for question in. Question: what prevents anyone from copying this and doing it cheaper? That's from a question from AB.
So, well, I mean, preventing, we have a patent filed, we're doing everything to protect it, but it really doesn't work if you don't have the quality and the raw material that we're sourcing. So there are many little pieces together that makes a competitor having just collagen in a tube, not having the same results as we have. We see improvement in 90% of dogs within the first 2 weeks.
Okay, another question from Davo. Have you done any clinical testing?
Only the study that I mentioned on Labradors, but we are right now working with NASA to test it on a clinical study with humans to help the astronauts not lose their bone and cartilage density when they go to space.
Okay, another question from Sanjay. What is the current product mix today? What's selling the most, and where are you selling this?
So the current product on the market is only the collagen joint and hip supplement. That's why I cannot say what's selling most. This is the product we have right now. And we're selling it on our platform as a direct-to-consumer subscription-based model, also on Amazon, Petco, Chewy.com, and some retailers like Nordstrom and.
Sorry, time is up.
No worries.
One more question. How are you arriving to your acquisition cost of $81 per customer?
That's our metrics from the marketing we did. So that's from paid ads, how much it costs us to get a subscriber, which we're looking to, of course, get a lower customer acquisition cost in the future.
There is one more question. What is the percentage of the dogs suffer with the joint and hip issue? Who is the direct competitor?
So we actually, with the senior supplement HappyAgain, we have data that 58 million households in the US have dogs older than 7, and nearly all of them will suffer from joint pain. Most of the bigger breeds tend to start earlier than the smaller ones, but 80 to 90% of dogs suffer from joint pain over 7 years.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Anja.
Yeah.
And the next one is going to be Jeremy from RadIntelligence.
Anja, the host control, please.
Again, Jeremy, it's about 10 minutes of presentation, 5 minutes Q&A, and Anil will be moderating the time. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna share my my screen here. Can everybody see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's a pleasure. Shankar, I appreciate you having me on. I'm Jeremy, CEO and founder of a company called RadIntelligence. We are an advertising technology channel. The problem that we are specifically solving right now is there's about $50 billion a year that gets created through blogs, videos, articles that's literally wasted, that never sees the light of day. And you can think of Rad as AdWords for content distribution. What we do is we take a brand's already existing digital assets, blogs, videos, articles, product pages, and we use the network effect of real social media users to syndicate that content in a performance-driven marketplace. So what does that look like? A brand will provide us the content. They're going to set a budget for the content, meaning the monthly pacing, how much they want to spend on a per content basis. The users will log into the marketplace, select and share from the content. On the left-hand side here, you can see this is what the scroll feed looks like. And then on the right-hand side here, this is what it would look like if shared on the influencer's page. As far as revenue is concerned, Q4, we launched late Q4 of last year in November. We did $10,000 in revenue Q4. Q1, we did $31,000 in revenue, and we just adjusted our revenue projections for Q2 to $91,019. That's from $71,000 that we had projected middle of the month because we just closed a couple of deals. Mind you, these numbers were adjusted down because of COVID. Right now, we have a clear road to $150,000 a month in recurring revenue. Our gross margins are 35%. The way we make money is we do a 50-50 rev share with the influencer. We're using the influencer audience feeds as our source of syndication. The only clients thus far that have not renewed are literally 3 clients that went out of business because of COVID. In Q1, we had a 300% client growth rate from Q1 to Q2. And right now, our burn rate is $40,000 a month. A couple of things that we're really proud of specific to what's going on with COVID is we closed a couple of deals that were looking like they were going to be Q4 deals that got pushed up rather than getting pushed back because of some of the different advertising needs. One specifically with a company called Condé Nast. They're offering Rad, our platform, alongside TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter in their client management CRM to offer to their advertisers, right? So that for us is a real big deal. We've already onboarded our first client with them, which is set to spend $25,000 their first quarter of marketing with us. We've already spent $8,000 their first month in less than 3 weeks. As Anya said, she's also one of our advertisers on the platform. She's renewed now 4 times with us. And I can just kind of give you the performance so you understand the power of what we did with her. She spent a total of $1,500 on my platform. We generated 111 unique shares by 66 different influencers for that $1,500 cost. So as a small, medium-sized business that she is, she's getting distinct value. But more importantly than the distinct value, she's able to track the sales that she's producing through our platform, which if you have any experience with influencer marketing, you know does not exist. So we're the first that is actually doing full attribution on both the sales and the top of the funnel traffic. Who likes us right now? Well, we're getting tremendous traffic with SMBs. Like I said, you can't afford a PR company. You can't afford a marketing company. You certainly can't afford to waste $10,000 on a campaign that's not going to work. We offer a very easy to use marketing service. Number one is you just set the budget so you control the outcome because you're setting the cost of your real estate. Number two is once you set it, we handle the targeting. We do all the audience identification. It's a full no-touch system once you're on the platform, and it undeniably works. There's no question about it. Those are the 2 most important things. What we've also noticed with SMBs now getting a little bit of traction. Did my screen just go black? Yeah, hold on a second here.
Yes.
I'll say, okay, there we go. Something's happening here. Well, I'll just keep talking and then I don't know what's going on. What we've noticed, aside from SMBs, is some of the bigger customers that are need a little bit more social proof in order to come onto the platform. Companies like Ranker.com, companies like BeautyBox, which is the Allure Beauty Box. These companies typically need a little bit of validation from the market, and we're seeing that a lot of these companies are finally coming around. So we're not just working with SMBs, but we're working with some larger companies, some larger brands, and we're also working with publishers. Publishers meaning the companies that are just producing article content. So when you're logging into the feed, you're going to see a combination of brand content, publisher content, and brands that you have a familiar understanding with. As far as the raise is concerned, pre-COVID, we were going to raise $1.5 million, and we are fairly far down the road with a couple of VCs, some that you probably have heard of. That all sort of just was put on pause. We recently got approved for a $250,000 SBA loan, so that put us in a different cash position. Our burn is only $40,000 a month, so it doesn't really take a lot to get out the door. So we've decided that we're going to raise less money. We're not going to raise the 1.5 that we thought we were going to raise. We're going to raise $500,000. and we're asking for that $500,000 at a pre-money at a $3.5 million valuation. As far as the team is concerned, I myself, my last company, I exited in late 2017. I built the company up to 25 million a year in less than 3 years. The name of that company was Trendy Butler. I actually divorced with my business partner in late 2017. My lead investors from that company are also the lead investors of this company. My CRO of that company is also my CRO of this company. Him and I have worked together for literally 10 years. He's the former CEO of a large influencer company. He's also a good friend. We've had some success together. My head of product is somebody that I worked with at my last company. He was also an investor in my last company. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is we just have a very close-knit group of folks that have been to the party a couple times that are a part of this deal. And for us, it's obviously very important that we work with good people as we're growing. And aside from that, we are also working with a large international charity organization, which I am the chair of here in Los Angeles, called Orphan Starfish Foundation. We're in 29 countries. We've built 68 computer centers over the last 15 years. And we are implementing education and technology into these computer centers and committing to these orphanages for life. What is RAD doing? Well, we're just basically training these kids how to have a digital presence and profile and make money using our platform. So a couple $100 a month is pretty meaningful to these kids. So that's what we can contribute and give back given what's going on with COVID. Aside from that, I think I could probably just open it up for some questions and we could take it from there. Apologies for my computer dying. I don't know what it is. I have a black screen on my end as well.
We have a question from Ajay from the panel. Ajay, would you like to ask a question? Ajay? Okay. Ajay's question was
muted. Sorry. So yeah, I just wanted to find out how many clients do you have right now?
Right now we have 15 advertisers on the platform.
15 advertisers. Okay. So the 15 advertisers, you are generating, you said what, $30,000?
Yeah, we're looking this quarter, the second quarter right now, we're projecting $91,000 for the quarter. Advertisers spend at will on the platform the same way you spend at will on Facebook or spend at will on Google Ads.
So what's the average you are seeing, you know, per client that you have advertised, the revenue?
It was about $1,500 per advertiser per month, and that just changed dramatically because we had a bigger contract that just closed and they're spending more money with us. So right now, if I was going to blend it out, I'd say about $2,500 a month per client.
Okay.
Yeah. But these numbers change, and there's also a little bit of like, you know, we're kind of at the tail end of a unprecedented time. So a lot of these things it's a fluid environment is my point. Like we're kind of going with the flow, and we're just, you know, the most important thing is a lot of the advertisers on the platform have ordered 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, and they're keeping it as an evergreen product and part of their marketing budget for each month.
Vijay, you want to go? Vijay from panelist have a question.
I had a few questions. First of all, how much money have you raised so far?
1.1 million.
And that has, for that, what stake do they have in the company for
that? Without their notes converting, a little bit more than 10%. If you convert their notes all the way down the road, about 17.5%.
Okay.
So,
and, one more question was, if the COVID thing continues for another, say, 3 or 6 months, can you cut your costs down until and then ramp up again?
Well, yeah, we are. I mean, I have a full team, and we're burning $40,000 a month right now, and we just came out of an environment where nobody made a penny for 75 days. I personally have resources, and so do my partners, and so do most of the people that are working on this company at the executive level. So, like I said, we didn't pay ourselves for 75 days, and then we just got approved for our SBA loan. So I don't think that we have to cut it down any further. But we've already shown multiple different times we just do what we got to do to make sure it works. So we can definitely we can definitely get there. I think that right now with COVID, we're one of the businesses that, I mean, look, it hurt. We had a couple of businesses that completely fell off. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but we're also one of the businesses that's continuing to grow during this time, number one. And number two is our product is perfect for this environment. As an advertiser, you don't have to deal with anybody. You just come onto the platform. And as an influencer that's on our platform, you don't have to touch anything. You don't have to create anything new. You don't have to leave your house. You can just make money. As a matter of fact, on the influencer side, we've been, I don't know if going viral is the right term, but we've been onboarding between 50 to 100 organic influencers a day since COVID started. And that's just because people need to make money and they have to have some side income, and our platform is an easy way to do it.
So Shankaram has a question, please.
No, I have, let me ask the questions later. There are a lot of people have other questions. Go with that.
So I had a couple of quick questions. One is, how do you go about getting clients? How do you identify the clients? Because they're not the large guy, they're the small or medium, or more like small guys. That's the first question. And the second thing is, what's your end game plan? I mean, how easy is it for one of the mega tech players to be able to replicate what you have? Is the intent to get acquired by one of them, or sort of take them, by law closet? So anyway, these are the two questions.
So, all right. So the first question is, how do we acquire our clients? So I'll address that first. Number one is between myself and my chief revenue officer, we've served as the sales team for the existence of Rad. So we had some pre-existing relationships, which is why we have some of these larger deals that have come to fruition much earlier than what you would say like an early stage company. Like, for example, we have the deal that we have with Condé Nast is way before our time, right? But we were able to do that because we have relationships. With SMBs, it's one of those things, like when you talk to an SMB, if you can just talk to them for 10 minutes and tell them what we do, it's like a very obvious they want it. As a matter of fact, it's like once you give it to them, they don't want you to take it away from them. That's how we know that SMBs are really, really in need of this. Kind of similar to the way when Google AdWords launched, they didn't decide to compete with, Yahoo at the time. This is at the beginning. They decided to go after the really small companies because they were more desperate and they were willing to try something new. And they had 500 or $1,000 to test, and then they eventually grew with Google AdWords, and Google AdWords turned into what it is today. But that's sort of like our thinking and approach. So that's the first thing. So that process is completely replicatable, very scalable. And what we're going to be doing with the money we raise is we're going to be automating our fly trap for SMBs. We're going to be integrating our product into the Shopify marketplace. And one of the things I forgot to tell you guys is in January, we were approved in the Microsoft for Startups program. And we did that specifically for one reason and one reason only. We wanted to be offered in the Azure marketplace for larger enterprises down the road, because larger enterprises typically don't play nice with AWS, right? So for us, I'm sorry, go ahead. So anyways, I hope I answered your question there as far as how we acquire customers. And your other question was, what's the end game? What do we see in the end game? Well, the end game for us is I've already shown that I can build a company and sell it and go to $25 million in revenue in less than 3 years. That was a single. This company, for me personally, is a legacy deal. In other words, we see this being a unicorn. We're the first to market with this product and service. We have competitors that are worth northward of several $1 billion. Nobody's doing what we're doing. We're first to market. It's hard to do. It's not easy. And the variables associated with this is we're contrarian to everybody else that's in the influencer marketing game. We're not interested in some sort of agency-based service that is identifying specific influencers. What we've done is created a scalable product. So we are going to build this. We're going to build it to a significant company. The people that are alongside with me have built companies before. We all have had exits together. I helped my CFO sell his last company, low 7 figures. My point is this is the one. Like, if you have the one, this is the one. I'm 45 years old. I got 2 kids. So this is the one. I hope that answers your question.
Jeremy, sorry, we have a few more questions, but we're out of time.
Okay.
The next one. Shankara. Who's the
Yeah, Jeremy, I think we have a bunch of questions. I'm going to forward it to you so that you can respond to those questions to one of us, and then we'll pass it on to you. Okay?
All right. Yeah,
Thank
I appreciate the opportunity. I'll stop sharing.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Christopher from RealKey. Okay. Christopher, you have 10 minutes of presentation, then 5 minutes Q&A, and go for it.
All right, let me go through and get the screen made a little bit larger for you guys here. What we do is we actually make processing and underwriting loans more, oops, we got some noise coming in, a little more efficient, effortless, and enjoyable. Thanks, Anil. And the way that we do this is that we looked at the way loans are done today, and there's been a lot of innovation on the front end already. You can find a lender, get a quote, get pre-qualified, do an application. Not really too much pain point there. Same thing at closing. You do e-closings, e-signing, e-recording. Really, the bulk of the frustration is in the very center of the process. It is collecting all of the documentation and all the information from all of the different parties. And about 75% of a lender's day, whether it's a loan officer, processor, or underwriter, is simply just calling and emailing and updating everybody involved. Where's this? Where's that? I need this updated. This wasn't in the right format. And they've got an infinite pipeline of these trauma-inducing transactions to give them PTSD at any point. A big part of this, I mean, as you can see it here, is 45-day close. Most locks for refinance or purchases are already on a 30-day close, so they're kind of set up for failure if the average loan takes 45 days to close. So what we want to do was to make this, again, more efficient, effortless, and enjoyable for all the parties involved, while at the same time addressing the lender's needs, which is they would like to get more repeat and referral business. As you can see here, we did research with the top companies in the industry. You can see blue is with RealKey, orange is without. Small missteps have a drastic effect on the likelihood that a consumer is going to come back to you or refer you business. You have to set expectations up front. Don't ask for the same thing twice, and resolve the problems quickly, which means, you know, being able to communicate efficiently. Knowing and understanding the space, we knew not to go through and to walk into a brokerage office or a lender, ask them to change the systems they use today. Instead, what we want to do is fill the gaps that the systems they're currently using have to make them better. So for instance, the loan origination system, as it says, it's a LOS. We make a joke that it does a load of shit really badly. It looks like it was built in the 80s or 90s. This is the system that they use to take your loan application, run your credit, go through and do compliance checks, send you disclosures. Again, it does a lot of things. What it doesn't do is it doesn't tell you what documents to get, what format they should be in, who should you get them from, how to review them, what additional triggers might happen. So these are a lot of really important things that cause a lot of frustration and costs for everybody involved. I mean, if you click on self-employed in these systems, it's literally a radio button, on, off, nothing happens. Now, enter the last decade, Rocket Mortgage is the most well-known point of sale, meaning click here, apply now. The frustrating thing is that when you click here and apply now, that's great. It gives the lender more information on the first phone call, but it's incomplete. Consumer's not going to fill out a complete loan application. All that data ends up back in an old-fashioned loan origination system that Rocket Mortgage and the rest of the lenders are using. Now, Blend Labs has raised $300 million to basically build Rocket Mortgage for anybody that doesn't want to build their own. The problem we found is that the data, again, is incomplete, it's unsupported. Good example, you know, Anil, you could tell me that's your name, but until you give me a document, I can't actually take you at your word for it. So that's where we found a real big loophole is focusing on the documents itself. And the documents that so far are gathered are really put into more of a box or Dropbox. They're stored, you can log in, but they don't review them or see if any triggers. They don't invite in all the different parties. So again, there's these huge gaps in the current processes. So rather than going through and filling out the loan application, doing all of this, and then getting an email and back and forth and all this frustration, we found a better way to do this. After a lender has taken the loan application, ran your credit, entered all the fees, and are ready to send you out their disclosures, the legal documents, we have them export a universal file format that every lender uses to standardize all the data across the board. It's called a .fnm file. It's kind of like a .csv. It has all the information about the loan. We then have our algorithms figure out what documents are needed, who are they needed from. We invite them into RealKey, give them on-screen instructions to help them get the right documents. We can also have them log in directly to their accounts so that they can go through and we can see if anything additional was triggered by the data that we received. And then also we can use OCR text recognition if they want to simply upload a document. Now, in addition to this, we have a network effect. We invite in those that need access to the documents as well. So you don't have to spend all of your time calling and emailing them. Instead, they have one point of truth. They can log in, see the actual transaction, log into that, see the document requirements that apply to them, and then they could chat and communicate with everybody in there to get all the right items and to access all that on the fly. And it keeps it updated consistently, eliminating a lot of the frustration with processing and underwriting. We also do what we call smart stacking, which is where with each and every item, we're providing a cover letter that allows you to know how we came to calculations, what we saw in there that might have triggered additional items, and that we were foresightful in doing that. That way, when underwriting looks at this, they're that much more efficient, which means cost savings to the lender. We're going through, and with RealKey, at a minimum, we're cutting down the turn times by half. If you're taking 30 days to close, it's taking 15. Taking 20, it's taking 10. So some great cost savings here. Looking at the space, again, we don't try to boil the ocean. We're not actually competing directly with anybody here. In fact, what we're doing is filling the gap. So these are partners rather than competitors. And so we're not trying to boil the ocean either. We're not trying to build a system that runs credit, does disclosure compliance. That's a mortgage application filler. Instead, what we're doing is going through and facilitating documentation collection as a centralized repository, automating all of the review of that, and then intelligently conditioning, giving people a place to communicate and chat where we have one single point of truth. We charge $99 per month per user for this. That's a loan officer, processor, internal underwriter, or a manager. All third parties and consumers are, of course, free of charge. You can do an infinite amount of transactions. We do plan to actually add additional features that will allow us to charge a per transaction fee once we start going through and connecting to their pricing engines to tell them which loan programs the documentation matches with, which will also help out consumers in the future to even find the best possible lenders. Obviously, we've got these captive audience of consumers as well as the lenders for things like insurance, title escrow. There's a lot of value in the data that we've got as well. We do realize that, so we can deal with contractors. Obviously, Amazon and Alibaba have been interested in the data that we've got. And we've already proven within only 4 months of the product that we've got product market fit. We already are at 905,000 ARR currently. Our last month was 73,000. We only have a 94,000 churn or burn rate, so we're doing quite well. We've also got a pretty decent savings right now of about 900,000. We valued profitability early on before COVID, so we kind of coined that we were the first ones to think about that, which obviously we weren't. We're very proud of the fact that we were conscientious of how we used our money to begin with. As far as the market goes, going directly to top tier banks tends to take a long time, and they actually don't own majority of the business. Since 2008, more people have been going to non-bank lenders and brokers. What's great about them is they also have a shorter sales cycle, and it's still a huge, huge market. We can literally walk into an office and walk out with the business, and it's only a month or two if they're part of a large franchise where we could get the entire corporation. We've partnered with, NAR is actually one of our investors, so National Association of Realtors, one of the most influential companies out there, in that they are going through and making a lot of decisions, not just for the real estate space, but also the entire ecosystem. Flagstar, we're actually part of their second cohort. They only allow 2 companies in, so we're very proud of that. They're the 5th largest mortgage lender in the US. What's very important about them and why, even though they're a top tier bank, we're working with them, is that they do 86% of their business with brokers and non-bank lenders. They are a bread and butter lender, meaning that every single broker you talk to, every single correspondent lender, somebody with a credit line, goes through and works with them. So when they turn the lights with us, that means that we get all of that business almost immediately, and we've got that blueprint to go to the other top tier banks. We've already proven out a low cost of acquisition per client with a three-pronged approach. The event space was really just to meet people in person. It's actually a lot easier now. We could do these Zoom meetings, so I could schedule at any point in time. I don't have to wait to the events to meet with the decision makers. Low cost of acquisition per client, but a high lifetime value. Usually lenders, when they find a system they like and it works, they don't change it. That's why we want to grow very quickly with this product to become an industry standard. My background, I was a top mortgage originator in the US for 2 straight years. Arguably, there's nobody else with more experience than I have, since I'm one of only 4 people in the US that's held a license in each of the 50 states. The last company, Syndio, was an online mortgage brokerage, raised $50 million. It got acquired by one of our internal investors, Renren. It's now part of Freedom Financial. That was my second exit. This is my 3rd startup. Lock Nguyen, datascience.com, very complex system. Mortgages are very complex in what we're doing. And it's great that he's got that Barracuda Networks lead software engineer background for security, which is very important with the data we've got. Obviously, a complex system in finance, you want somebody who made taxes easy for you. Alan Tifford, TurboTax design lead and Intuit's principal design strategist prior to joining RealKey. So he was the person choosing what features they would build, why would they build them, all the user research behind it. Really, really thoughtful individual. Rob Reed, ZipLogic's head of business development. ZipLogix is the largest software platform for real estate in the US. He made them who they are today and built that team from scratch over the last decade. So really great to have him on board with us. Adds a lot of clout. We've got Hayden Kirkpatrick as well. Again, we were profitable. We plan to be profitable before the end of the year, despite going through quadrupling our expenditures. And then I'll be wrapping up in about 30 seconds here. We will be raising an A round later on this year to go through and expand the product. COVID's been great for us. It's expanded the need for the product, and we've been very mindful about how we spend money. I've also identified a new market with the loan servicers for clients who don't qualify for loans, and we expect that to exacerbate over the next 12 to 24 months. We know who's going to acquire us and why, and we have larger exits as we continue to grow, whether it's Blend or Roostify that raised 300 to 175 million, the loan origination systems with multi-billion-dollar market caps, and you can see a lot of make sense additional potential suitors. We're raising 1.5 million to 7 million valuation. We're using convertible notes or SAFE if you prefer. We're doing that with a 3% interest rate, 2-year term, 20% discount. We just gotten an extra 100,000 from our lead investor to Enable Partners. We'll be pitching Pasadena Angels on May 13th, Tech Coast Angels LA on Friday, and we look forward to talking to you further. Thank you. All right, open up for questions.
Panel, any questions from the panel?
I see a few questions. Can I apply this to non-agency, non-Fannie Mae, and FHLMC mortgages like jumbo and non-QM? It's a very specific question. Somebody has some background experience in this. Yes, we have actually applied this for not just Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loans, but also for FHA, VA, and USDA, which is quite unique. There's not been anybody in that quite yet. And we can actually customize this based off lenders' overlays, meaning their specific.
Okay, Ravi Sharma has another question, second one. What are the lenders in the pipeline? Who are the folks he speaks with to close a deal? I would like to understand the closing process a bit more.
Yes, so we've been adding about 50 to 100 new users on a weekly basis between Rob and myself. We just began this about a couple of weeks ago, onboarding people to this new product that we've got coming out in the next couple months. Typical process with that is about a 45-minute to an hour phone call, getting to know them, showing them what we've built to date, making sure to get feedback. And we do record all of these, so we're happy to go through and share those. And then usually we'll have the entire office onboarded, usually within a day to 2 days at most.
Okay, another question from Ravi Sharma. Data security is becoming important in the mortgage space. Last month, a CMC DD firm in mortgage got hacked. and all their client left to go to one of my friend's company. Just want to understand what they have put in place there.
Yes, so obviously security very important to us. So we are following all of the bank level encryption. Unfortunately, we can't protect once somebody downloads documents. So that would be the biggest worry and concern I would have there is, what are your brokers using? What are your lenders using? Obviously the banks are a little more trustworthy, but if you're going outside of the banking, out of the banks and maybe even with a credit union, it's not something that we can cover, but we do actually obviously know the importance of the data we have, take that quite seriously.
Okay, you have one more minute because you had more time on your presentation. From
Yes.
Ajay Prasad from the panel, how many subscribers do you have now?
We had 761 paying users, made up that 905,000 ARR. The 150 to 200 that we've got is going to be with the new product. And so we're somewhere about almost about 1,000 users. What's great is that for each 150 users, so that's an extra 15,000 monthly recurring revenue, about 200,000 annually.
Okay, that's about it. We have time is up.
Yeah, thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Good, thank you. Next would be Shroomeats, Desaya.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, you're on, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again for having me here, and I'm super excited to share with you our company, Shroomeats. If you've heard of it or not, Shroomeats started in my own kitchen, actually, and we are the first mushroom-based meat alternative in the market. We launched in LA and greater area, and to get into the story, this lady is my mother, and she is 66, and most of the time people think we are sisters. So that's great. I've been cooking for her vegan and vegetarian meals for a long, long time, the past 5 to 10 years at least that she's been a vegetarian. And we explore a lot of shiitake mushroom in Thailand because that's our, we are abundant of different ingredients, and shiitake mushroom is definitely one of them. So that became the idea of creating something that's mouthful and delicious and versatile for different dishes. So from kitchen, we look into the market and we observe that a lot of meat alternative brands have questionable ingredients. And you know, when you look at the package, they're packed with a list of ingredients, and are you getting enough protein from that, from cooking a lot of vegan and vegetarian? So this really comes to the knowledge of cooking in your own kitchen. Also, are they giving you the satisfying texture of, you know, let's say you are alternating from meat to something else. Are you getting the same satisfaction? Because we actually do. And we care about eating good and quality food, but also staying healthy. So Shroomeats started because thanks to shiitake mushroom with tremendous health benefits and highly medicinal aspects to it, our products are only made of 6 ingredients. It's high protein, 1 serving. So 1 patty serves up to 17 grams of protein. 100% it's a hearty and meaty texture, so you can actually eat and chew it and you feel like you're, you know, chewing something, and it gives that satisfaction. It's also easy and versatile, and I know that some of you might or might have not tried cooking with shiitake mushroom or other mushrooms at home, and you know, from getting the fresh ingredients to washing to preparing, it takes a lot of time. We have made these products ready to be cooked. They're frozen. There's no preservation in there. So you only thaw it out and season however you like, and then you can enjoy your meal at home. So again, shiitake mushroom has a lot of health benefits, and one of the most important things right now and throughout our life is to be healthy and stay healthy. And we all want to live, we all want to have our families healthy. So we want to make sure that we pick ingredients that are right for our bodies, and our bodies know how to digest. And for a lot of health concern people, this is a great product because shiitake mushroom can serve that aspect of that. So when we look at the market opportunity, I mean, it's really obvious that meat alternative market has rapidly grown the past few years, and it's just been incredible how much people are shifting into plant-based, and just meat alternative alone is 30% growth the last 2 years. And plant-based nutrition, if we look at the market, there's so many new products that are health related, and it's, you know, the market is trying to help all of us stay healthy. Mushroom global consumption also grew by 9.2% the last couple of years. And with COVID, sadly, I know that a lot of businesses and a lot of people are struggling, but the world is going to shift in a different aspect now. Health are going to be on the rise. Food and natural remedy are going to be on the rise. Life indoor has been incredibly just changing so much. Online platform economy has been even rising more. So this is actually a great time for us to hand in there and grab the market. Looking at the global market of meat alternative alone, it's predicted to be worth from 4 to 8 billion by 2026. And just US alone is 3 billion. So Shroomeats is really hoping to be able to grab that 0.01% just in the US. So we have a lot of room to grow in this country and also global. Our mission, our company's mission really, you know, we talk about food, and this is something that is one of the human's needs and essentials. We want to make sure that we stay healthy, but at the same time, we all want to enjoy life and eating, and especially when it comes to family and friends. And we care a lot about how food industry is going to drive the environmental aspect of the future. So we want to make sure that not only us is staying healthy, but where we are getting our food resources from now on and in the future. And, you know, this has been from the past that we are taking so much, but how do we shift that into a better direction? And also we embrace diversity. So with these products, which we'll get in there soon, with these products, wherever you come from, wherever your family comes from, you can take these products and cook it to anything. And since quarantine started, I've been using Shroomeats every single day. And my boyfriend and I have been making just different dishes, and we haven't actually repeated one. So we're trying to come up with something new all the time. So here we go. These are Shroomeats. We are now in specialty retail stores in LA. We're in 11 stores. We have shroom patties and shroom balls. And we've also partnered up with Cisco in food service section with patties, balls, and shredded. And, you know, sadly, restaurants have closed down, and it's been challenging for everyone involved. But once the restaurants return, we're going to have new strategies, and they're going to have new strategies. We're going to customize more of the customized menus, and also we will adapt into the market that will change. So here's just some examples of what you can make from Shroomeats. Whatever you like, wherever you come from, you can just take Shroomeats and just create it in your kitchen, and that should be the most enjoyable time of your day. So with our business model, right now we have partnered with retail distributor and food service distributor, and we just launched our online platform last month, just right before the quarantine. And it's actually been on the rise because I know that a lot of people are avoiding being out there and trying to get things delivered to their home. So we're really trying to, even though food service is kind of been challenging, we are pushing the retail distributor and online platform more and more. And not only we're in LA now, but we are pitching to our new market in San Francisco and Chicago as well. So we would like to execute the market with more and more PR and marketing, word of mouth, and you know, food is something that you want to trust before you eat. So this is a very important strategy that we want to build through cross-branding and influencers as well. We work with one of our influencer is an environmental activist, and she has created such an amazing impact on a product, and her and her community are using Shroomeats a lot and appreciating it so much. We want to push the sales with doing promotions and different campaigns. So we'll definitely focus more online and create brand awareness and different promotions out there. Some of you might have tried Beyond Meat or Impossible or some other brands mentioned on here. I have my favorite too, but I would like to talk about how Shroomeats is different from all the other brands, is that we're not limited to flavors, because this is like a blank canvas. You can throw whatever seasoning into a product. The texture is hearty and meaty, which is really standing out from all the other brands, is that you can chew it, and that's something I've mentioned before too. It's made of very simple ingredients. Like I said, all ingredients are non-GMO certified, so you can make sure that these are going into your bodies and they're going to be okay. The products are gluten-free, vegan, and versatile. Versatile as in you can just, you throw in your magic. This is our team, myself, with the background of sustainability, and I've been putting more and more ideas into creating new products. And since the beginning, Shroomeats took a couple of years to get the right recipe and perfect texture. Pam, my other partner, she is our in-house design and logistics. Mary, which she's actually here, and she will take Q&As from you guys as well. She's in charge of operations and management, and we have our outsourced online marketing and looking for more team members to join. Our projected revenues in 2022. Right now, since day one, Pam and Mary have been doing our own footwork, and this, I'm telling you our journey that's been very challenging and very fun. But right now, we know that it's time for us to grow, and we're ready to grow with different platforms that we have set up. And we're really projecting to make the revenue of $2 million by the end of 2022, just the US alone. We have put in $70,000 from the end of 2016 with R&D up to current, and we've made revenue up to $30,000. So here are our products with the online platform. And this is how we're going to execute. What we're seeking for is $300,000, which will be used in PR and marketing, operation, and product development. And we're really looking for having our products get certified with something like kosher non-GMO project verification, vegan and gluten-free. And Whole Foods has actually contacted us, and they would really love us to be in the store when we have all these certifications. And more products are coming. We have jerky and we have shroom sausage. And thank you very much for having me here. I would like to grow the plant-based empire together, and would like to shift this food market into something more sustainable. So ready for Q&A. Thank you. Mary is here as well.
Yeah, thank you, Dasa. So the first question is from Sergio Vora. What are the preservatives used and what is the shelf life?
So with no preservation at all, we shelf life frozen is 1.5 years. And did you ask about the ingredients?
Not the ingredients, but just the shelf life and the preservatives. So you said that there are no preservatives.
Yeah. So shelf life is 1.5 years. So once they're made, they stay frozen from day one to last day.
And is the product already in any stores?
Yes, we are in 11 stores in Los Angeles.
So I have a question. So where are you making these products right now?
So the products are made in Thailand, and they're the mushrooms are sourced in the north of Thailand, then made in Thailand, and then they get on the container here.
Okay. So everything is manufactured right now in Thailand.
Yes.
And so is it frozen container? You get a 40-foot frozen container or a loose cargo?
We have been using 20-foot containers frozen. 20. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully we'll be in a 40-foot soon.
What's the lead time? 30 days?
Lead time is 45 to 60 days. And I would say it's really less than that because of the wind, and most of the time it's like 3 weeks. But to be safe, we do 45 to 60 days.
So, and you have warehouse here, or you ship direct to?
So we have a central storage here that we put our products in, and then we send them out to distributions. We used to do direct, but because of COVID now, we are relying more on distribution to grow.
And what's your gross margin?
So it's 32%.
Gross margin?
I have a question. Why, Shankaram, are you done? Sorry.
Yeah.
Why aren't you making in US? Do you have a plan to make it?
That's a great question, because we've been sourcing for farms and we have actually found somebody in Central California, and we would love to move our facility here, and that's something that will be part of our future plan for sure.
So I had a question. Would your strategy be to go and try selling through various grocery chains, or would it be to actually reach out to individual customers through, social marketing and other such stuff? What's your primary method of growing your sales?
So we really want to focus on getting more paid ads and getting online brand awareness and doing cross promotions with different other companies. So that will get that will get the traffic more on our website and onto our online store.
Do you have any restaurant or any actually using your product right now?
Yeah, so we were actually just set up with Commerce Casino, but sadly it closed down. So, it was a very challenging and interesting time and exciting time, but then it closed down. So we were unable to get any measurement of how well it was going to go. But Cisco has our products in their warehouse now, and we've been in their warehouse for about the last few months, and the shelf life is a year and a half. So we're really hoping things will get better with restaurant industry, and they will be able to supply our products more. But we're still pushing doing mail marketing to different restaurants and getting the words out there for people to try our products.
What's the retail price of a product?
The retail price is $7.99.
And how would it be for somebody to look at it and replicate one of the larger players? Is there something unique about what you're doing that's difficult for them to replicate?
Right now we are the only product in the market, and yes, I believe that once products grow, things will get duplicated anyways, whatever product you are. But we really work hard on our branding and what our core value and what we believe. So that's something that will stand for our brand and what our company stands for.
So Josiah, there is a question on your branding thing that, do you have reviews your product from chef or influencers?
We do have, we have our influencer who has reviewed our products a couple of times, and they've been doing cooking shows with Chev. We do work with them individually, so most of them love the product. The challenging part is that not a lot of people in the market know our product, so it's challenging for the restaurant owners to actually put them in the menu and be like, hey, this is Shroomeats. And that's something that we want to work on, is to really push the marketing and have people know more about Shroomeats out there.
Anshuman, time is up.
Time is up. Yes. Thank you, Dasya. We'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And
thank you.
We will be sending you the question so that if you can answer and send it back to one of us, then we'll circulate it to the attendees.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Attendees, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about our fund. Anshuman, do you want to put that the slide again, that first one?
Yes.
Shankar, you need all the presenters here also in this meeting?
Pardon me?
Do you want the presenters also be there in the meeting?
No, I think, yeah, they can log out. Okay. Christopher, I can log out. Yeah, I will talk to you. Thank you.
Bye.
Jeremy, Christopher, and yeah, we'll definitely get in touch with you. Okay, good.
Yeah.
As you all know, that we sent documentation emails on the fund. The fund has already been set up. It's a Delaware LLC. We have all the paperwork and the bank accounts are ready to go. Because of COVID, we put a Now we had a pause to decide how and when we should proceed. But then the more I look at it and talk to other members, there are a lot more opportunities now, like as we saw some presentations today. There are a lot of great opportunities. Through my Tech Coast Fund, I think the past 6 weeks, we invested in 5 companies. Today, we invested in another company. Just now, I said okay for that. So I would say in the past 6 to 8 weeks, the fund of Tech Coast has invested in 8 companies, 7 to 8 companies. So a lot of companies that are still in the market, and I think it's a great opportunity. We should not be in the sideline. We should be investing actively for companies that are worth it. We will do our analysis, and I think we can find some good companies to invest in. So with that in mind, I had a meeting a couple of days ago with some of the panel members and the board members. We decided to activate the fund. So we want to go ahead and get the fund started in May. So from now through May 30th, we'll accept funds into the TiE SoCal Angels 2020 fund. Again, the investment is minimum 10,000 and a maximum of 100,000. I got one commitment yesterday from another party. They're writing the check, sending the check. We just wanted to give a break with the COVID. We said the minimum investment is 10, but they can give it to us in 2 installments of 5,000 each if there is a need for that, if they are short of cash. But I think it's a great opportunity. We're going to keep this fund active probably May, June, but after that, we will not be taking any more members. I think COVID is maybe another 3 to 6 months, and the market is going to come back probably end of the year. We're going to be back there. But as you know, these companies we're investing in are companies they're going to, if they can survive the next 3 to 6 months, which is our job, we'll make sure that they survive. If they are companies that survive the next 3 to 6 months or 9 months, they're going to survive the next few years. As my email stated, and as Venkat said, a lot of companies started in 2008. They all are doing very well. They went public, some of them were bought out. So when there was a financial down, their companies came up and they survived. This time, the financial downside is not because of real financial problems. It's most because of the COVID, the pandemic. So I think this is a great opportunity. We should be actively engaged in the market, looking for companies to invest in. And I think we have a great opportunity going with this fund. And as I said before, you might be afraid to invest in a particular company because, what about this, what about that? But as a group, we can do a complete good due diligence, invest in companies. The risk is safer, risk is less if we are in a group rather than 1 or 2 individual investors. So as a group, I think this is a great opportunity. I would welcome each and every one of you to be a member of the fund. 10,000 is minimum, but I prefer that we invest more because this is the next 12 months. We're not going to get any more new members in. Next 1 month, and then that's it. Hopefully, we'll start another fund in 2021, but second quarter. But this fund, I think let's go for it. Let's start this fund and make a name for TiE Southern California. And I think if you have any questions, please email me or Anshuman or Anil or any of these panel members. We'll try to answer that. If you have any questions now, the next 5 minutes, I can answer it, or start sending checks out to Anshuman or Anil. Thank you.
Yeah, and on just would like to add a couple of things on that, Shankar. This is open only for our TiE SoCal charter members.
Yeah.
And as I said, 10K is split into 2 if need be.
Okay. Any questions or anybody want to say something?
Shankar, one other thing that we had talked about was someone wanted to co-invest in addition to the fund in a particular venture.
Yes.
They'll be able to do that at the similar terms as the fund.
Yes, yeah. We prefer them to be members of the fund, but if they want additional money, they want more stake in the company, they'll be welcome, and we can get involved with them for the same valuation, same terms. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There is a question from Vijay Midadadi, who is our newest charter member. How big the fund is going to be? So my target is $1 million. I hope it gets more than that, but the target is $1 million for the first one. Yeah. That's 10 people at 100,000 each.
50 people actually. I would like to have 50 members at least.
And Shankar, you had mentioned that by whatever date, you will close the fund down and not accept any more for this particular fund, right?
That's right. I'm hoping that we'll have a fantastic reception and we can close it in May itself. Worst case, I don't mind if you have a commitment and they want some time, we can give them 30 more days. If they commit to it and sign the documents and say, hey, I got some money coming in, I'll invest it. So I token money here and by June I'll give the money, that's okay. So I think by June is the latest we want to close, keep it open, but ideally May. We have 30 days now and a commitment letter and either 5,000 or 10,000. If it's more than 10,000 investors, like say somebody wants 30,000, write a check for $10,000 for now. That's all. So maximum check you have right now will be $10,000.
Shankar, how does someone make a commitment?
The fund documents are already sent them. So they read the fund document, they sign the fund, and there is signature pages. They can check with the attorney and they can sign the fund documents, send it back to us, and then with a check or a wire information, wire transfer.
By the way, I don't think I have received it.
I think we sent it to everybody. We'll check again and we'll send the documents one more time.
So there is a question from Ravindra, Ravin Konakonda. How will the money from funds be deployed?
Where is that? Oh, how will the money? Okay. I think we presented in the previous meetings. So we will be listening to pitches. We have board members. We'll have committees for pre-screening, screening, and due diligence. And the pre-screening committee will select companies to pitch, to sell to us. And the screening committee will screen them. And then if people think, the members think that the good company to follow through, the due diligence team will take over, do the due diligence. For example, one of the companies today's presentation will get more information, do the due diligence, get the documents, and the due diligence team will recommend the company to the board and saying this is ideal, this is a good company, and then the board will decide among how much money, 50,000, 100,000, how much to invest in the company. If the final decision is on the board, which is about 5 members, but the due diligence will be the one that will be deciding. If the due diligence says it's not a good company to invest, we will not invest.
Another question from Ravi is, what are the rules for withdrawal? Is there a fixed minimum term?
There is no real rules for withdrawal. This is an open fund, LLC. Normally, I would like to say 3 to 5 years, but practically it could be up to 7, 10 years. I think I talked to the attorneys and the accountants. I think 7 years we should start thinking of how we're going to keep the fund and dissolve, how many more companies are there, and maybe maximum of 10 years. At that time, we liquidate the company. But normally, on average, 5 to 7 years. I think that is my experience, and Venkat or Vijay can pitch in if they have some.
So just to add to what Shankar just said, I know that in all the funds that I've been, one of them started off with 7 and then they wanted 11 years. And finally, by about the 11th year, 3/4 or 2/3 of the investments, you got a return which got you 3x, but the rest of them technically are there, but you don't really get anything on those. But then on the flip side, there are also scenarios where in 4 years' time, you got 6x and you still have some great investments there. So I think the important thing is, obviously here, if you, we are investing in things hoping for big hits. And when that happens, you will get multiple X returns. But this is not like a safe investment, so to speak.
Yeah, I think on that note, see, normally between 5 and 7, we look at the companies that are still there, the returns we got, then board members will decide how to liquidate those companies. Some of the companies would have been in business, still in business, we can go back to them and sell our shares to them at a face value or whatever value is. And so the board can decide, yes, we want to exit at 8 years or 9 years and negotiate with companies that are still in business. If the companies are out of business, so be it. So we have to have, because every year we keep the fund, we need to have accounting, we need to issue K1s. So the cost goes up. So if at whatever time it doesn't make sense, we need to close the fund, we will close the fund. The current board will decide at that time.
There is a question from Dhaval Kapadia, our CM. How many companies will you invest in?
It depends on the funds we have. The minimum investment we've been saying is $50,000 per company. preferably keep it not to exceed 100, maybe up to 150, depending on a fantastic hit company and we have a lot of money. But look at it, if it's 50 to 100 average, so it could be anywhere from 10 to 20 companies is a target. But there's no compulsion, no nothing. If you find only 3 good companies, it'll be only 3 companies. So we want to make sure that we get the right company. So we don't want any company going out of business. Can we get out of this company in a good multiple about 5 years?
And Shankar, what was the time horizon you'll be deployed? Is it 6 months, 1 year, 2 years?
I'm sorry, what is it again? What?
Over what period of time will all the money get deployed?
Again, it all depends on the companies that come across, how we go and sell ourselves, get new companies to pitch. Ideally, it should be 6 to 9 months. But you never know. You might find 3 companies today, and we all, let's say, the board decides, boom, the money goes faster. So there's nothing. No, if we rush it in 3 months, it's going to be a rush. So my preference, again, it all depends on the companies that we come across. I think ideally it'll be 9 months, worst case 12 months.
But if it's 12 months and you haven't deployed, you're still okay with that, right?
Yes, if we don't come across companies, we don't want to deploy, we don't want to put the cash out. So we'll delay the next fund and keep this fund, or we may start the next fund and we keep this money, and hopefully we'll find some good opportunities.
Yeah. Did we change the format?
Hi, Ashok, your voice is echoing.
There are a couple of more questions.
I had another question, right? And Ramesh Patel, I did not receive the fund-related document, so Ramesh, I'll be emailing it to you tonight.
Yeah, I thought we sent it out, but again, let's send it out to the whole team one more time, because it's been quite some time. It's been 2 months, maybe so many emails. So let's send it one more time to everybody.
Let's send it to all the CMs.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Ravindra, the board members are currently myself, Navneet Chugh, Venkat, Vijay, and Anshuman. And all of us have invested in companies. All of us, most of us have had multiple exits. Probably Anshuman has the only one who's not an exit. I think all of us have had multiple exits. We have invested in many companies. My portfolio is at least 40 plus companies. Venkat has got his own VC firm. He's got at least 10 plus companies. So all of us have got good investment experience and good exits also. Anything else?
At a given point, if somebody wants to bail out, they can sell their.
I think we talked about that. We are looking into it. The option is theoretically there's no bailout, but if the funds are doing good and there's an option to sell it to other holders, let's say if I'm interested in buying your share and in concurrence the board agrees, then I may buy your share at whatever price the board sets. Because we cannot have a private dealing that way. So we may have the board, it will come to the board, and then we definitely will give every opportunity for people to say, hey, I want to exit, I have this, whatever problems, and we'll try to help you. But there's no guarantee in that. So
any such experience in the past? Somebody want to do it, and what happened?
So far, in my funds, I never had that kind of exposure. I will follow up with, I'm a member of a couple of funds. I will check with them, see if anything has happened and how they handled it. I'm in at least 3 funds in California, and I don't, normally we exhaust the funds. And my question is, what if I'm not alive in 6-7 years? What happens? Where does the money go? Those kind of issues I have.
That's it.
So Ashok, just to add to what Shankar is saying, there are 2 parts to your question. First is, what if you paid one part of it, and the next call that comes up, you are not ready to make the payment? Okay, that's one part. And I think that answer, based on what Shankar mentioned, that that's something where basically, which means you still have in the fund. You are not going to get money for that right away because these are not tradable stocks or anything like that. So that is something which I think Shankar is talking about, of potentially going to the board and looking at what kind of an exit you can get, etc. But most often, once you make a commitment and, the expectation is that you would be able to stay with that. Again, like I said, I haven't seen too many instances where people pull out.
Hopefully, the hope we all have is at least in 2-3 years, we have 1 or 2 exits. Then you can sit back and say, okay, let the money grow. I got my principal, and let's wait and make more money.
Is there any system of distribution of funds?
Yes. I think so. Typically, it's an LLC. Every year, the accountant will do the K1s and do it. And in the middle of the year, there is a sale. We'll do the accounting and distribute a certain portion of it. Certain portion will be withheld for whatever reason, depending on the sales agreement. And end of the year, the accountant says how much we can distribute. We'll distribute it. You have complete transparency in accounting. Most probably, we're using Chuk firm. You'll get an accounting of the monies that came in, monies that got distributed, and the monies that's still in the escrow or buffer if there's any. So we'll get full export transparency of that.
Shankar and Venkat, I have a strange question. So what if someone wants to sell their share to another member in the team? In other words, Anshuman says to me and said, comes to me and said, I want to sell my share for whatever, the price that we agree. Is it allowed?
It has to go through the board because he has signed formal documents. So it has to be with the board, with the board's approval that some legal work is required, and it can be done. Yes. Okay. And it has to be fair, and we have to inform all the members. So we have to make sure it's fair and there is no side deals happening within members. So again, in all legal transactions, financial transactions, we want complete transparency because we are all part of this group as a family, and we want to make sure it's all transparent. Yeah.
Although, Ajay, the one thing is, if you want to, let's say, transfer it to your kids or to something else, which that's allowed. But the other part that you're talking about, either the buyer is not fully aware or the seller is not fully aware if you want to make that sale, because everything is, until it happens, it doesn't happen in the case of startups.
Sure.
So all I'm saying is, like, two members, if someone wants to sell it for some reason, so that's where the question came in, and so in a board, for example, suppose board says, no, we cannot buy the ownership for whatever reason right now. Can they just go and sell to another member? And so another member gets the share for whatever price. It's between buyer and seller, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Since you're a member, so you have to go to the board and make sure that, again, the board's responsibility is make sure that it's done properly. So if somebody is having an economic distress or some issue and we want to resolve it, hope we'll resolve it amicably, because it's not something that make sure nobody's taking advantage of the situation. You want to make sure that everything is fair deal. That's all. And everything is legally done.
There are a lot more due diligence required from the buyers. You can't just say, I will sell the finance. Then the fund has to ensure that somebody else is not Tawud Ibrahim's nephew or something. You have to go through all those details of ensuring that he is actually part of the, accredited individuals and so on and so forth. So it's not a simple case of, I can't go it, I'll sell it to someone because he's willing to buy it.
No, yeah, the legal exposure for the fund. We have to make sure that there's no exposure. That's all. We have to be careful.
Just within the group.
Yeah, so even that.
The fund, there are like 15 people. You can only sell among those if someone. That's what I was saying. Not to.
Yeah, that's right. You cannot outside it. You cannot sell anywhere. That's very difficult. But within the members also, I'm just saying, we expose it to everybody. And let's say, for example, you want to buy it at par value, and somebody says, no, I'll buy it at par times one. You want to make sure that you don't come into this. Make it clean. That's all.
I can understand. You said it should be done appropriately, but then you mentioned it has to be fair. I didn't understand that.
No. When I say fair, legally right. Make sure that the legal thing, we don't cause any constraint. If there's a private deal and they say, okay, and we have to inform the council, and the council says, are we obligated to inform all the members? Are we obligated to follow these? That's all.
No, we all investors, right?
Yes.
Are we all in accredited investors? Is that right?
Yes.
We have to be, right?
Yes, you have to be accredited investors.
Okay. So
there's a
if,
form in the bond, in the application formation, there is a paper you fill up and say you're accredited investor, you certify and you sign it. Yes.
correct. So if
These
there's
are
somebody wants to sell and somebody else wants to buy within the group, the price should not come in, should not bother the board, right? I mean, somebody wants to sell for same price or less or more, it doesn't matter.
No, the price, I'm not worried about the price. I'm worried about the legality. Make sure the membership, what the obligation has, what is it remote, and it's all. Because we don't want the other member coming and say, oh, I didn't know, the board never told me, I'm still getting a K1. I don't want this. No, those kind of issues.
Got it.
We don't want to get into spend more money on legal just because there's a transaction going on.
Ravi Kornagunta, who is our charter member, he has multiple questions. So Ravi, would you like to unmute yourself and ask those questions, please?
I think this is a great initiative. So thank you, Shankar. I know it is a lot of work. We've gone through this with Pasadena Angels, so I truly appreciate it. The last question about being certified to investors, I think Ashok asked that question. So no more questions from my standpoint.
Okay.
I think I've asked a whole bunch anyway, so thank you.
I like Pawan's screen. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Hey, Shankar, this is Ramesh. I have a question. Where are we with the fund? What is the total accumulation we have so far?
No, basically, Ramesh, what we did is we distributed the fund documents, and then sort of I had gone to India, came back. It was March with the COVID thing. We just went to hiatus. We just went back around because I sent one email to a couple of board members, and we said, okay, let's just hang in there. And we didn't do anything because we were not sure what's going to happen. And then past about 2 weeks, I've been thinking about it. I again circulated emails to all the board members and say, I think, why are we sitting on the sideline? We should be active. And I'm seeing probably, I don't know whether you're a member of Orange County and San Diego Tech Coast funds. We're so active.
Yes.
We're so active. As I said, 8 investments in the past 4, 5, 6 weeks. There's so much investment, so many companies coming. I said, what is it? We are losing this opportunity. And that's why I said, let's activate it. And then last week, we said, okay, let's go for it again. So theoretically, there's not a single penny there. We're not theoretically done anything because we just got not scared. We just took a step back. Yeah. And now we said, no, it's not right. We got to move forward. Yes.
So is this fund going to consider the companies we talked to today?
Yes, I find a couple of good companies. I have already, a couple of people are interested in doing due diligence. We will, I think if you can send me an email to panel members, which companies you like. Again, we want to be, the members to be involved. It's not my decision alone. So it's not just panel members' decision. The board, as I said, is going to look at the recommendation of the due diligence team. So we want people who are interested in doing due diligence. So specific, for example, RealKey. If that's a good company, then we have one person who's from that field. He would like to be, I like to be involved, so he can say well, that's true. So we want to identify some companies. I see 1 or 2 good companies here, but let's get the board, send some emails to either to me, Anil, Anshuman, or one of the panel members, and we'll definitely consider it. So that is one of the reasons too. I've been talking to about 15, 20 companies, and I said, hey, there are some good companies. Why are we missing out? So I can go ahead and sign a $20,000 check, but I want all the members to be involved. And how can we that? Then we can sign a $50,000 check, and then all of us are part of it. And that way we can invest in 3 companies.
And Ashokji, I just want you to know that we looked at 20 companies and we selected these 4.
And there's some more. There's a lot more. Next month we have 1 more. By that time, I want the fund to be active, so at least we can make 2 or 3 investments by next month.
I think 29 startups applied.
Yeah. And so if out of the 29, can we not get 2 or 3? Yes, possible. So can we invest money by end of May in 2 or 3 companies? Possible, quite possible.
Yeah, so 28 companies applied for this one. And in fact, 2 companies applied today that we'll be considering in the next round. I was talking to Raghu Iyer. He called me yesterday. He would like to bring healthcare, health tech companies from San Diego. He has already sent about 3 to us. And he was also requesting that, can we get a private audience with our charter members for his selected companies. So we'll be working something with him also.
And I didn't even invite the other company that we met in Orange County, Anshuman, the medical outsourcing company.
Yes.
Yeah. So a lot more companies are there, which is not even presented, but I can easily identify 7 to 8 companies that I would say, hey, let's look into it in detail.
Shankar, can we do, because right now, the way the next couple of years, medical health tech is a big thing. Can we just have a pitching event just for health tech and fintech only? Companies completely, because a lot of them are applying now, health tech and few fintech.
Yeah, we'll look at, again, if we have time, but on a monthly sessions, I want to have a mix and match. Like, are you definitely interested in minority women-owned businesses? We had 2 this session. Minority women-owned, healthcare, real estate, all mix and match. That way we get an exposure. Everybody has a different interest. Like San Diego, we get a lot of health, medical related. Here we get a lot of IT related. So if we can mix and match, that'll be great. But if we think there's enough companies that are on this field, then we can have a special pitching session somewhere in between one of those weekdays. We're all sitting at home, we can do this.
Shankar, I suggest.
Shankar, this is Vijay. Vijay Mitidari. Quick question: Is there a reason why you having a May deadline for doing this, or?
I'm sorry. What line?
No, is there a reason for having the deadline as May?
No. See,
end of May.
No, okay. So we wanted this fund to be up and running in March. January. Well, initially it was January, and because the attorneys are taking time in Delaware, we delayed it to February, March. We're behind, and the fund is called 2020. I want the fund to be operational beginning of 2020. So May, June is already 6 months into the year. One, I'd like the fund to be active as soon as possible, preferably as soon as possible.
Okay. Understood.
That's all. There's no timeline. If I get the funds tomorrow, we'll be ready, up and running. Today we can select companies, but we can't write a check because we need to get the documents signed.
Oh, okay. So you are basically trying to have a May end for getting the funds and then making sure that the investment fund is ready to be basically invested.
Yeah, and I want how many? Let's say only 10 members sign in. Is it really a fund? And I'm trying to see how can we attract every member as much as possible, every charter member. And I want members who are not charter members saying, hey, I want to be part of this fund. How can I get that? So ideally, I would like to have 50 members in the fund, at least. That'll be fantastic. 5, 10, I already have. How can I get 50?
Okay, you can count me in. I'm game.
Okay, thank you. I know Ramesh is there. I think there are a lot of people who Ashok had committed. A lot of people are committed. I just want an email or documents or something so that I know, yes, this is what it is, so that I can start putting it in my worksheet.
Check will be better, right?
Huh?
Check will
be much better, but at least a worksheet so we can start putting it in so I can formalize it, because I'm talking to individual. I want to formalize the teams who will do the job. I want to formalize all that so the process is defined instead of ad hoc. I want a process defined so it is not just me answering. Everything should be clockwork. It'll be organized.
After May, if somebody wants to join, or will we start another fund?
No. First, we have to exhaust this money, this fund. So I would like to make at least 70-80% investments of this fund before we start another fund.
Okay, May or June, whatever you want, you can just close it then, right? No
That's
more.
Right. That's right. If somebody says July, August, oh, now I want to be a member, I'm sorry, we missed the boat.
Then you get busy in deploying those funds.
That's right. Yeah.
Then okay.
And again, I want commitments as soon as possible. Let's assume that we found one of these companies, today's companies, one of them we want to write a check. But I want commitment people. If I write the check and only 3 people have committed and given money, only those 3 people are fund members, right? We don't have other members. We'd like to get commitment as soon as possible.
How many members we have so far? Maybe you already answered that. How many members?
Again, verbally, I've been talking to people. Only one person has sent me an email. Verbally, about 8 or 10. I said, hey, I'm in. But again, I had to call and follow up. But let's get the document so that it's not me following up. It's a team. It's us involved, getting involved.
Okay. Sorry.
Ramesh Patel had a question.
Yes, Ramesh.
I suggest that we use the protocol of our TCA, OCTCA, that we use all the time. And you and I are very familiar with that. But I think there is a lot of learning there that we could probably deploy in this situation.
Yeah, I think we have to subscribe to a software to do some of those things. And I think it's going to take us some time. Slowly now, first we develop our own web page. So we're thinking, can we do some of those instead of using Procedure? One of those, we can have our own website because we have resources in India. Can we do that cheaper? So we can log in and look at your portfolio, look at your accounts, or we need to go to the other software. I've not started shopping around. I've already spent $10,000 of our fund's money on attorney fees and other stuff. So I want to make sure that we have the fund going before we go further. Yeah, yes, definitely.
So
I want to automate. We learn as much as possible. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing about everybody is questioning the timeline, I would say it is possible that if there is only 7 or 8 guys who are willing to invest at that point, we may have to extend that deadline to June or July or whatever.
Again, would that make a difference? The thing is, if people are definitely committed, interested, then at least, you know, we will know. And then we have this community, this is for a reason. We need to identify reasons, then we can extend it. Yes. Yes. I'm open. But how?
You have made it fairly lucrative. Well, lucrative is not the right word, but you have made it fairly easy now, and just said the minimum investment, if I recall your email last time, was what is it, 25,000 or something?
No, 10,000. 10,000 minimum investment, because I want all the members. Yeah. And so if somebody says, hey, I'm committing, but I can only write a check of 5,000 now, can I give the other 5,000 in by June 10th or May end? Yeah, let's do it. That's okay, because some people, I'm just saying. Whereas people who are regular investors, the 10,000 is not an issue. They say, you know, I'm going to invest 40, but I'm giving a check for 10,000 now. Yeah, give it 10,000 now, and then we have a cash call, you know, every month. So if you're investing $50,000, you don't need to give 50. You need to give 10, and then hopefully, as we deploy the money within 3 to 4 months, we may ask for another 10, 20, and so on and so forth. I think it's 4 installments.
Good idea.
Yeah, 4 installments of minimum 10,000. So if it's 50,000, it'll be 12.5, 12.5, something like that. Or 10, 12.5, 10, 15, whatever ratio. So that'll be based on cash calls coming up. If we had invested only $100,000 till August, September, the cash call is going to be later, but I want to make sure that we do it right.
So Anshuman, can you broadcast an email out to every chartered member, and, you know, with that guideline as well as a timeline, and say we need a response back in the next 2 weeks or whatever?
Yeah, Ramesh, I'm working on that. Yeah. It will go out by tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you all. Send me email. You have my cell number. Contact me. I want to get this. I hope that in 2 weeks we can close and say, hey, we have as many people as possible, and then we'll go try to sell one-on-one other charter members to get involved.
So, you know, Anshuman, before, you know, if they can just send you an email back saying, can you just make someone say, okay, 10,000 now, I would invest, you know, I'm in for 20,000, 30. So all we need is a verbal commitment right now from the members, right? So that at least we can start to plan and say,
yes,
money, and, you know, because we saw couple of really good companies even today. So
yeah.
We can plan.
Yeah, the fund documents are 20, 25 pages. People want to read it. They may want to talk to some attorney, whatever it is. No, so I need to give them some time also on that one.
So I'll be sending out the fund document, and I plan to set up a survey monkey and send it out that, you know, how much each one is planning to invest, under what name, do they have a trust, or are they investing through their personal name? And, you know, I'll work with Sankar to come up with the questionnaire, and we'll send it out to all the charter members and potential charter members.
Okay.
Perfect. That's a good idea.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Thank you all for being present, and let's just go ahead and get the fund, because, you know, Orange County has started one, but they're not investing anywhere. We have got a lot of companies coming to us. It's really, there's so much opportunities, and I think, I'm sorry we're taking a backseat a couple of months, but I think we're ready to go now.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This was my first one. Nice seeing you all. Nice meeting you all. So
thank you. Thanks for your time. The next one is in May 20th.
Absolutely. We'll chime in. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.